Hey there, my name's Chris Ringler, and welcome to the Ghoul Cast. I'd like to introduce
Paul Counelis
and
Lucifer Fulci.
and we're here to enlighten and engage and excite you. This is our first podcast, so it's going to be kind of awkward and weird, kind of like us.
Sound like the three of us exactly.
So professional as hell. Oh, so
We're 40 seconds and I already got hit by Lucifer.
So we have an agenda and we're going to see what happens. So, all right, so we wanted to talk about our favorite horror films for 2014.
And can we preface this with everybody said that it was a bad year for horror?
Yeah.
And like most of the best movies came toward the end of the year, probably. Or at least when we got to see them.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's true for me.
I see. It's funny though, because anytime I ever hear it's a bad, everybody says every year's a bad movie year.
I know.
And then I'm like, that's kind of crap.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Because there was a lot of good movies.
Because I did like a general list of movies, and I'm sitting there and I keep forgetting. I'm like, oh crap, that movie came out this year.
Right.
Oh crap, that movie came out this year. Oh that one came out this year. It's like, it's not as. I think.
Did you have an easy time narrowing it down to 3?
For the horror thing, yes.
Okay.
Because 3 stood out for me.
Me too.
Yeah, there's a bunch. So the more that I've been sitting here talking with you guys before the recording, that I discovered that, oh yeah, I like this one too, and I like this one. I watched one last night that I liked. But there were some standout
VHS viral.
Look,
I figured we'll start right there, get it out of the way.
Let's get it out of the way. VHS Anal was one of the least favorite ones for me, but I love the other two, and especially the second one, but the third one really lost me. It lost me. It disinterested me. But
I liked it. It's not one of my top 3, but I liked it.
You know that the part that they cut out, the episode they cut out was probably would have made the film. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
It's just
the one that they didn't put in.
Because it was that good. It was too good.
It's too good for it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that one though. I kind of like the idea. See, the thing is, like, I know they're cheap and I know there's
right, but
the cheesiness, the parallel world one where the guy goes in there and then at the very end it's like the monster penis.
That was magnificent.
That was just stupid.
I don't see a problem.
I just thought that, I mean, I can relate with the monster penis, but it lost me. After, like, the second one with the dude exploding in that one episode, the cult.
Oh,
it's
awesome.
The demon chase, like,
totally
that
awesome.
Compared to the skateboarders.
Totally awesome. Skateboarders smacking off skull heads. Come on.
I can see that again, all day, all night in town.
See? And they used a GoPro.
Oh.
And no, that's good. I mean, that's good. I hope we buy several soon. But
So, 3 favorite horror films from 2014. Who's gonna start?
Oh my God, The Evil Dead, the Cowcercist about that demonic cow. It was like, who are you?
Who are you?
Your mother drinks milk in hell.
It was a little homogenized for my taste, but no, I don't know. I don't know if we could even talk about the Babadook.
Yeah,
because I think
that's.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
That was easy.
The Babadook.
Yeah, that was easy for me, and everything rolled right with it. And I think I watched it at the right time, right at midnight. Neither of us had heard a lot about it, my wife and I, until we sat and watched it, and then turned everything out, had candles going, and we're like, okay, scare me.
Right.
And very rarely do I get to do that and then feel scared. So it worked, and that's one of my favorites.
Well, and I think it works because it's directed as if it's not a horror film, so it's scary without being a horror film. And then you added this creepy, crazy monster guy, and so that like was kind of the peanut butter to the jelly, the whole rest of the thing, because it's just creepy. And
not being able to stare at him.
Yeah.
He's just there, here and there.
Yep.
And you're like, oh God.
Yep.
He's on the TVs in the background. He's, yeah, that was.
And in a lot of ways, that's a distant relative of The Exorcist, the same sort of ideal where it's a drama.
Right.
You're watching a drama.
Real movie.
You're watching these real people go through these extraordinary circumstances that, fuck with you intently. I mean, that's their intent, is to bring you in and then kill you.
Right.
And by the end of that movie, I was like, you kept him in the basement? Thank God. Because, like, if you said, well, we can get rid of him if we click our heels 3 times, I'd have been like, no, he's around? Good, thank God. And I don't want a sequel. I don't care. I just want to know he's there,
Right.
and I want one for my basement.
Don't completely explain the boogeyman away and get rid of him.
Yeah.
Right.
I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great movie. I'm not dorky enough to want to order one of those books.
Hey.
Oh, I'm totally on board with you on that.
Oh, whatever.
Totally, I
kidding.
love that. That's
I want one too.
You
I'll
can
steal
borrow it.
yours if I get it. Yeah, if you see anything missing from here tonight, it was Paul.
It's gonna be my
the
Babadook.
acting in the movie. That's what makes it work to me, because you have to believe that this is really happening to this poor woman and this poor kid. Which, by the way, this kid's been taking a lot of abuse.
I wanted to punch
People
him.
hated him.
I didn't hate him, but I wanted to punch him a little.
I didn't feel that way. I felt like I was like one of the only people that, like, I'm sitting there thinking, man, this poor kid, get him the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I think he needed a little bit more discipline.
Well, he got it.
Timeouts.
You
and-
thought
Like
she did.
you thought they had to kill the dog and then.
No, I think if anything, the Babadook need to spank him a few times with his demon penis and make it a real sick movie.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? You don't even want to know. It's the Babacock.
And what else you got?
Took 6 minutes to get to.
6 minutes.
All right, sorry. Number 2. What's your number 2?
Oh, I don't know.
Say
if
number 2 to him.
I don't. VHS 3? No. See, I have. As far as favorites, like, my list is similar to your list. Those standouts, Babadook, and The Taking of Deborah Logan.
That was awesome.
And there were a couple others. I just don't know if I should get into all those. I have several others I really liked. I really liked The Den.
The Den was good.
I haven't seen the Den.
Oh, you should see that.
Yeah, I mean, I read that it was good and then found it and watched it, and it was very good. By the end, I was very satisfied. That was shot in such a way that, with all the modern technology, it used to be, you watch a movie and it's a movie. And then, Cannibal Holocaust, Blair Witch found footage stuff. You got all that stuff. This was like internet movie. Like,
Right.
you got, you're watching a computer screen here and there, and it transitions well to the time by the end you're like, what is going on?
Right. They put it together really well.
Yeah, it was super cool, and that became one of my sleepers, that I'll be watching that again and again, just periodic, late at night.
Right.
Just because it lends itself such a kind of a very still and when you're like very alone, the woman seemed very alone in it,
Right.
and very, very desperate. So it was cool, but you have to see it if you haven't. That was one of them, and then there's this other one called The House at the End of Time. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I've never heard of it.
I never saw that one either.
Yeah, that's I believe it's Spanish. House at the End of Time, which is like a ghost story.
Oh, cool.
And it was really cool.
I'm gonna track that down.
Yeah, I was looking up random things, like I always do, but then they had best of lists, and I saw it, like a trailer for it. Then I went to the video
Whose
store.
best of list was it on? Dennis Miller?
No,
I never heard of it at all.
no, it was on the same list as that other movie that you liked a lot. Your new favorite director guy who directed it, and
Housebound?
yeah, it was on the same list with Housebound, which I liked a lot too.
Yeah.
Housebound was
Housebound
really good.
was my movie.
Yeah, House at the End of Time. Yeah, it was like this creepy Spanish movie, and it was a ghost story, and that really, it worked well for me. A little distracted when I watched it, but I really liked it a lot. Taking of Deborah Logan was very good, and yeah, like we talked about, that's like one of the most amazing scenes at the end. That's the payoff.
Right.
That movie is like, okay, possession.
Spoiler alert, just in case.
No spoilers?
I don't know.
I like spoiled eggs. I mean boiled eggs, but I don't want to
Now
give
back
any...
to the Calcercist.
The Taking of Deborah Logan was great payoff, and lots of tension, and not what I thought it was going to be.
No, me either.
I'm tired of like certain kind of possession movies.
Right.
You know, those I really liked, and a couple of couple of more minor appreciations I had for last year's exists. Which,
Yeah, hell yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I'm dying to, and I haven't seen. I saw.
Creature's great.
Yeah, really cool. Like,
I don't want to say too much because this is Chris's like favorite kind of movie.
It's a leprechaun.
Stew.
It's a hairy leprechaun.
It's a Bigfoot-tracon.
It's a little foot.
I've actually seen Littlefoot once. There's an
in your basement.
There's a movie called like Littlefoot or something, but it's an animated movie about a little Bigfoot that gets lost.
Aww.
It's terrible.
Aww.
I got made fun of so bad. I mean, and you rent it because it's bad, but yeah, I still
got made fun of.
I still got crap, man.
And
Maybe
then,
I streamed it. I don't know, man. It was something else.
on another minor level, which I just watched last night, and I thought it was decent. It was like well played or whatever, and at the end it felt like a really good Twilight Zone episode. It's a movie called 7500.
I've read about it, but
Yeah.
it sounds like an ABC TV show. So
I hated that movie.
Did you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah, 7500. That was good. It was you know, it was kind of I just say it ran like a nice Twilight Zone episode. In fact, there was a cool part because it takes, you know, 7500 is like a plane, an airplane number, and during the film,
now I know what you're talking about.
one of the main actors in the movie is watching TV while they're on this flight to Japan, and he's watching the William Shatner episode of Twilight Zone with the gremlin on the plane.
Nice.
And
there's someone on the wing.
Yeah. So those were really good, but yeah, by far, you know, Babadook takes the cake, Deborah, Logan, and probably for me, House at the End of Time.
So that's the three.
Yeah. You know, there's more, but I like a lot of stuff.
That's all right.
What do you got, Chris?
Mine's Babadook.
Is that number one, or are these not in order?
It's number one. It's hands down. Like, it was the and I saw a lot of good stuff. Like, it's funny because I made my own little, like I said, my own little list of movies I liked, and like I liked Annabelle. Annabelle's good.
Yeah,
Annabelle was
good.
Best movie of the year? Not at all.
I wanted to punch myself quite often.
Really?
But
with the doll?
Yes. No, yeah, that would have been helpful. I just like anticipated everything.
Oh, did you?
And it was driving me crazy.
I don't know. It throws. There's a couple curveballs it throws.
And the dialogue was so bad.
I don't know. I guess I went in with I went in thinking I would loathe it, and I really liked it. So maybe that was So my expectations were so low.
I wanted to like it because I love The Conjuring.
Because there's a couple surprises in it that really got me.
I can't think of any. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's So there's a couple that were really
I'll
solid.
give you that one. That was pretty good. And
there's moments at least.
It looked really good too.
Yeah.
The cinematography.
Yeah.
It looked really good. But anyway, I got you off track.
No, you're right. But no, Babadook and then Tusk was my. Because Tusk is, I give him credit because it's funny.
Me, Mr. Tusk.
It's funny, but it's also like. It's so disturbing and so like creepy. I went with a friend of mine and it flipped his leg. He was just like freaked out by it.
He's still kind of freaked out by it.
Yeah, he is. And I love the fact that he went for it, and it's goofy and parts of it are awkward, but in the end, like, you see how far he went with it. Like, I admire the hell out of that. Like, he went for it, and
most people know what that entails. By now, right?
I don't. Well, I mean, essentially, the movie is podcasters that are going to find a goofy story, can't find it, so they find a tertiary story, and end up finding a gentleman who wants a companion that is a walrus,
right?
And decides that he is going to, by hook or by crook, make someone into a walrus, and it's.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It's disturbing.
It is a much more because Human Centipede is a black comedy. Both of them are, but it's a more broad comedy, kind of black comedy, but it's the same kind of body horror that Human Centipede is, where it's just you're like, I thought
it was funnier than Human Centipede.
Oh no, absolutely. It's because it's.
I think that's the only way it works for me.
Human Centipede's kind of mean spirited. Yeah. This is not mean spirited. It's just it goes further and it's funnier. but it goes a lot further in what it's trying to do, and it's rough.
You know, in the end credits, like I don't want to give a ton away, but if you're listening to this, hello.
We'll post.
You know what you're getting into.
We'll post that they're spoilers.
All right. Well, at the very end, they play the podcast where they got the idea.
Yep.
And they're dying laughing over it, and it kind of made it all feel a little disingenuous for me. And I was I wish that part wasn't in there. I could have done.
Oh, so it's okay. It's one of those things where you wish there wasn't. Like movies where you wish
the man behind the curtain.
You wish they'd stop it before. Like I remember reading on Ain't It Cool, Harry that runs Ain't It Cool would, whenever he'd show people Blair Witch initially, he would stop it before the credits would roll and be like, "It's real,
right?
Look, it's real," and that kind of thing. Because it'd be neat if you could do that. And yeah, I can understand that.
And because I like laughing and joking, haha, then we'll play like a sad song, ha 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 ha. And I was just like, oh, darn.
Yeah.
That
I
kind
feel
of
the same way about that, yeah.
Bummed me out a little bit about it.
Oh, and that's the magic behind that sort of thing too. When you're taken into a weird world like that, you don't want to be like walked out.
Look, we made this up in a podcast in 5 minutes.
It's just it takes.
And the movie it goes exactly how they said it would go.
Yeah.
Right down to the guy. Oh, he comes and brings them something to eat, and then the sad music plays, and I was just like, really? Oh.
And that's great too about Blair Witch. That's how I initially saw Blair Witch. I was talking to Sean from Rotten Cotton. We used to trade movies, and I just said, one day when what else you got that's new? And he's like, I got something really freaky. I'm like, what is it? Like, it's a documentary. I'm like, oh, cool, documentary. So here I am, back when I used to drink, I had a glass of wine, and I remember just putting this on. I'm like, it's a documentary. I love documentaries. I started watching it, and I was like, what are you doing? What? By the end, I was freaked out. In fact, at the time, I used to get tattoos that, from films that affected me. That next day...
You have Heather's face?
Heather Donahue's butthole. This is actually Heather Donahue's butthole.
I should have known. I should have known.
But the next day, I actually went out and I got that Blair Witch symbol tattooed. I think it was right here before I got all that stuff covered up. Because I was like, oh my God, Blair Witch!
And then said, I'm so scared.
Then I seen him on Jay Leno, and I was like, what? So yeah, it's.
You went out, got it covered up the next day.
No, it was for a while. People used to tease me.
So seeing that was a mockumentary.
Oh yeah, that bothered
me. Was the podcast credit roll from Tusk for you? It bugged you, like.
Oh well, yeah. I was like, see, Blair Witch was worse for me because I was so freaked out and scared, thinking this was true and.
Because you saw it probably before it got the word got out about it. Yeah,
there was nothing out. I didn't even know
that would
the
be
website.
Even creepier.
It was just a tape that Sean had, and he had sent it to me. So it was just a tape on a VCR.
Those were those were kind of magic days, like the VHS kind of, which maybe we'll talk about in the future. But those were some I not to kind of steal it for a second, but I do think that kids nowadays miss out without the VHS because there is just a whole world of the mixtape and the VHS mixtape that you miss out on. But we'll talk about that some other time.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So that did lose me in Tusk a little bit, but yeah, I still love Mr. Tusk.
His acting is amazing.
Yeah.
Parks.
Oh man.
My God.
That was he was really
Even
good.
If you hated the movie, you would have had to sat there and watched him.
Yeah.
Because he's magnetic, just like Red State though.
Oh yeah.
But I liked Red State more overall.
It's because it's. Red State shows you how good of a director Kevin Smith can be.
Yeah.
He really can make a solid, unnerving. Red State is, to me, blasphemy. It's better than Sacrament.
To me,
because I didn't expect where it was going to go. I had a
Sacrament.
wish.
You know what?
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
It's well acted and well made.
Sacrament's
was 2014, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I left it off the list. I liked it, but it's
not. I like it more in retrospect than I did initially, but I knew everything that happened. I expected. I was like, oh well, that's gonna happen. And blah blah. Blah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all right. So my third was just Taking of Deborah Logan, because like Lucifer said, it's so good because I didn't hear a darn thing about it. And then suddenly I started to hear kind of you'd read little it's pretty good, you should see that, and I finally watched it, and it's a creepy movie throughout, and then the last third of the movie, quarter of the movie. It's just super crazy, scary as crap. So
there's like it's not really a controversy, but you know, online everybody's saying it's not found footage. A lot of people say it's not found footage.
well, it's not because who found it was never lost footage.
Right.
But there's a lot of movies like that. What I hate are movies that are lost, found footage, whatever, but where they forget that they're making those kind of movies, and there's music in it, and it's like,
how?
So someone scored this movie
that
where people died.
Yeah,
it's awkward.
That was probably the only thing with Deborah Logan that kind of, I mean, just to offer a mild criticism is some of the camera placement.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Really?
For sure.
You know, but
I can't remember the damn name of it. Dark Mountain maybe. That's one movie, and it was terrible because it did have a score, and they kept and it was one of those where they'd film everything, and it'd be like in the yellow, put the camera down to help us, but like they filmed everything, and they literally filmed everything, and it was the same way with the Pyramid. It's the same kind of crap, and it's like
I didn't see
there's
that.
a point where if I'm being hunted by a monster and all this crazy crap,
you gotta
it's
put
like
the damn camera down.
you kind of let go of like I'm gonna. Blair Witch, it worked because it made sense. Like they're doomed. They knew they were doomed to a point, and they wanted to like have a record of their what happened.
Right.
Just because it's so crazy, no one would ever believe it.
Right.
It works. But yeah, some of those movies, it's just like, do you guys know what you're making? Like, because it's not working. Like,
Yeah.
You should see.
I didn't even bother with the Pyramid. I read that it was just
We
terrible.
go and see all that stuff, and it was man, I swear, I could have listened to King Diamond's Egypt 100 times and wouldn't have been as bored.
Yeah, it's boring. It's boring. That's pretty much.
Yeah.
So
that encapsulates the whole thing. It's boring.
See, I liked As Above, So Below.
it's great.
That was great. That, man, there was just something about that. The European.
It's
with the
unnerving,
sets.
and like at the very end, like you see kind of people like characters, bad guys, whatever you want to call them, that you didn't expect to see, and it goes to a place, but it doesn't like go over the top. It's like its sparseness is what makes it so scary. And now I'm with you. That was, and I loved the ending because it's one of those. There's a problem with so many modern horror films where they feel like they have no choice but to just be as bleak as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna kill everybody.
I hate that.
And it's cool. That's fine. Like I love the Saw series, the 7 movies of it. It's just when you watch all 7. It's such a bleak message for the whole thing. I'm like, so I sat here for 14 hours, and your message to me is that we're all doomed and damned, and we can't change, and no one can redeem themselves. Like, it's a cool series, but I'm kind of annoyed that you decided to tell me that for 14 hours.
That's kind of become the new cliche.
It is.
Like
it is.
Before, it would be kind of, oh, this is interesting. That movie actually ended down, on a downbeat.
Yeah.
Now, they all end that way.
Yeah, I'm not
on.
surprised by any of it. That's what was refreshing about As Above. That did have a different sort of ending when it was all getting flipped around when they came up out of the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, this is cool.
Yeah.
And fine.
Yep.
I can deal with that.
Yep.
I can deal with that. That was this last year too.
Yeah. Well, it was.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of good movies. It's
but
just
people hated that. Like that's the thing is the
I hate people.
horror press drives me crazy because like. They hate everything, but then they'll be like, Purge 2 is amazing. Purge 1 is... I don't care about either movie.
No.
I've seen that story 100 times. And I mean, everybody's seen, like, I've seen 100 ghost story movies. I just like ghosts. So if you like home invasion movies and that kind of movies, hey, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, go to town. I'll
forgiving.
tap out.
Oh my God, I just yawned when you mentioned The Purge. I was like, don't do that to me.
He yawned for a while, too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and I watched that second one too, and we were in the theater, like, on our phones in the back, and there's nobody there anyway, but we were both just like, this movie sucks, but I'm not leaving.
Because I paid the money.
Yeah, I paid the money. We got some popcorn. So
It's funny. I just remembered a movie that came out last year that we went to see together that I'm not going to mention yet because we're going to talk about it later. But I forgot that it came out last year.
We went to see together?
Yes, we did.
Was that last year?
I swear.
Oh, yeah, that's Bob's.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, Bob's movie.
Now I know because I read it.
All right, so
okay,
year 3.
Was that last year?
I swear it was. It was because I thought it was going to come out in October.
It was the year before, right?
It came out because...
Weird. Yeah, because I like that movie. Yeah.
I think. All right.
All right. Housebound. I didn't know anything about it watching it, so it kind of blew me away. And the way it's just a really well-made movie, and the acting is amazing, and it's hilarious and cool, and the effects are cool. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You saw it, right?
Yeah, I bought it. Yeah.
And then Babadook, of course. And my third one is Willow Creek.
That one grew on me. I didn't like it
Willow
at first,
Creek.
and it grew on me because I had to look up an aspect of the ending, and I looked it up, and it was like it really unnerved me.
Yeah.
I'm like
because they mention only in passing it in the restaurant.
He nailed that movie.
I thought so
and
too.
It took a couple watches to really get into it, and I wish it would have gone further than it did, but. Whoa, man, that's an unnerving movie.
Yeah, it is.
And
Nice.
it apes Blair Witch, and he knows he's aping it.
Right.
But what he does with it is different. Like
it's
it
not
goes
overly
different-
self-aware.
Yeah, it goes different places, and that's what the problem is. A lot of those things are they act as if like, whoa, we're gonna do kind of Blair Witch, but we're better than them, and he doesn't
Right.
care. He's just
No.
like, no, look, like there's only this kind of story. You're gonna reference this other movie. That's fine. It doesn't matter, but this is about something else. Oh, it's surprisingly good.
I thought it was really funny too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's what
the
made
acting
it
was
work.
good.
Is they were really good as a couple.
Yep.
Because they were very
they felt like a
snarky
couple.
and funny and
Yep.
Nice.
and it's not stupid where they do things that make you question it. But there's also I think people forget that we all do things like where you're driving and I mean, for God's sake, I was driving the other day and taking a hat off at the same time and had my hands off the wheel and you do stupid stuff all the time.
Right.
And
It
when
makes
we're
it
watching
feel more real.
Yeah, when you're watching other people do it, you're like, well, I would never do that. That's
Yeah.
stupid. But we do the same stuff. We're like, I really shouldn't go in that room, but I'm going to go in just 'cause
Right.
I'm curious. Like, it's not
Right.
like there's a shark in there.
Right. Candygram.
What if a shark wasn't in the
Candygram.
room? Yes. Land shark.
Sharknado 2?
The sharkening.
The Sharkening?
Uh,
Sharknado?
Willow Creek, though, you exist. If you put those two movies together, you'd have the greatest Bigfoot movie ever made.
Willow Creek exists.
Because it exists.
Oh, tell me no more. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to go watch
Yeah.
it tonight. I think it's on Netflix.
It's not like exists, though.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, I don't want you to get them like, really?
No. That's cool.
No, I gotta watch
Just
Exist
take your
now.
word
And he
for
hasn't
it.
watched enough of Exist to go too far into it. Except
Yeah,
for that, I thought the acting in Exist was...
Huh,
In Willow Creek, it's not.
Because they have so few characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Yeah, you're
easier to
right.
do.
You're right.
That's
They don't
great.
have to...
Yeah, oh, I think
And then
so.
the people,
I know what you're
he's
saying.
making a documentary, so the people that they interview are kind of real people.
Yeah,
They go to the place where they shot the film in the 60s, and they're
it's-
interviewing real people.
It's cool because you don't expect it out of Bobcat Goldthwait because his movies are he's a really good director. He's really good, but you don't expect him to make as scary a movie as he made.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things I think it works kind of like Babadook. I don't know that she intended to make like a horror film. She just wanted to make this movie that turned out was a scary story.
You know what?
I think same thing with him is he wanted to make this story and it just so happens that it's a scary as hell story.
Yeah.
If it's a horror film, it's a horror film. Whatever. He doesn't care. Like
Yeah. And
that's
with Willow Creek, there's that one scene, which I can't say.
Yes.
That either is going to work for you or it's not.
Well,
and that's going to make or break whether or not you like it.
It's that old adage of the joke that is funny, but if you keep telling the joke, it's not funny.
Right.
But you tell it so long that it comes funny again. It's that.
Right.
It's because it's great, and then it's
Well
awkward, and then it gets so awkward it's unnerving because it's just
Yeah.
like
And it's
this is still happening. Like
Tense.
this is oh gosh
very
like
tense.
yeah.
But you have to allow yourself to be...
when you watch it, sit in the dark. Like
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do
straight
it
up.
soon.
Sit
That's
in
what I'm
the
doing tonight. Getting food on the way home, and I'm watching.
Then you're
Willow
going to call
Creek.
us up tomorrow and be like, I hate you guys.
It was as good as VHS 3, man.
Oh.
I took so much abuse for Willow Creek so far on the internet.
Oh, yeah?
no, it's-
Yeah,
Good.
just reviews I wrote. And
Because it's
No,
weird.
it's-
I like so many
it's
things
good.
that a lot of people don't like. I'm easy to please, but not that easy. There's some
I'm
stuff
with ya.
I'm like, do not ever tell me about, Octopussy or whatever that movie was, Sharktopus.
Sharktopus,
I never want to see a Sharktopus again because I hear Eli Roth talking like, I wish I would have thought of that. That's a great idea. And I'm like, if Eli said that, I'm going to check it out. And I'm watching, I'm like, this is just another stupid freaking movie.
It's a great name. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Sharktopus.
It's an amazing name.
Yeah.
Octoshark is another
Yeah.
great name. So, Piranaconda, but fuck all that stuff, man. I can't stand it. But I trust you.
Oh,
you know,
man, that's heavy, though.
You know who I don't trust?
Huh.
Is Lauren Gillespie. I don't trust him. When he talks, that's you, Lauren Gillespie. I love you, and we agree half the time. Half, Eddie,
man.
half.
And then on the other half, we just know.
The other half, I want to skin you alive. You northern Michigander.
He admitted it. He admitted it one day. I'm like, man, you like awful movies. He's like, I know.
At least he admitted. At least I got something.
He likes awful music too. I've seen quite a few Lucifer CDs in his house. That's terrible, horrible. Just read Rue Morgue. I'll tell you. Ow!
So yeah. Anyway.
So all right. So we were gonna talk about just one piece. You're like a good, really solid non-horror horror film. So kind of like a movie that you wouldn't consider necessarily a horror film. Like it's not, when people talk about it, like they don't talk about it as, oh, it's a horror film. But it's a horror film. Like they just won't call it.
Or it has something in there that
it's horrifying.
Disturbed you in a scary way.
Yes, yeah.
Well, see, yeah, for me, that's where Tusk lies for me. Because I didn't really think this is a horror movie. I didn't have that feeling. I didn't think that about Red State, walking into it. It's a story. And it has these elements to it where it was, disturbing, and I really liked it. And I thought it was hilarious. Me and my wife were both, like, attacking each other like walruses, for a while after that movie. She would say, "You will fight me, Mr. Tusk!" And I was like, "Arr!" And it was, that to me, it was like a non-horror film, but I really...
So you guys bonded over Tusk.
Oh, yeah.
That's lovely.
We bonded in the theater because there were some other people there that must have just not known what they were getting themselves into.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
There's like 4 other people
that
in the
I would
theater.
have been interested in.
And like a 40-something couple in front of us. Maybe they just thought they're seeing Clerks 3 or something. But they were there, and like halfway through, they were like, "No, can't do it." And they left. And I was just like, good, because now we can have this theater more to ourselves. But that, to me, was the non-horror.
So you guys can fight it out. Fight it out as Tusk.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And, there were some other ones that are, non-horror that I really enjoyed. Maybe not new, but...
That's what we were talking about, just from any era, right?
Any era.
Any movie.
Because recently I watched, I don't know if you guys have seen The Nightmare Factory, the documentary... Mm-hmm. On Greg Nicotero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, that was just going through stuff, and I just recently watched it, and I'm like, the description makes you think it's going to be a little bit more broad than it is. Really, it's a Nicotero documentary.
It's right there in their factory,
And he brings his family into it.
Yep.
I
loved it.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it. I loved hearing more about him because I've known him. I've probably a distant comrade of his. I've been to parties with him and sat and talked and had, nice conversations and all that kind of stuff. But I never knew him or knew I had a wife or kids or nothing. It was all just like, blah, 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 have another beer. And watching this, I was like, oh my God, he's like such a nice guy with his child. And he's like, what's Dad's favorite movie? The one with the shark. Oh, Jaws, Dad. And to me, it was like it really opened up my eyes and made me think like, there's a reason I always liked him and always kind of thought Savini was a weenie. And he even said that was like his first thing when he started working with Savini. Like he just walked up, he's like, Savini's a jerk. And everybody's like, uh-oh. I think that was one of the things that were in the movie that he said in one of the first sets, I think on Day of the Dead. When he went down there, he like came down the hallway and he looked frustrated or something. He's like, Savini is an asshole. And then Savini was like, meh, being Savini. So that to me, it was really good. And
I already see right away that if we're going to get in any trouble for podcasting, it's going to be you.
What trouble?
You're our Charles Barkley.
What trouble? What?
All right, you've already, half hour in, you've already talked about the Babadook.
Are we supposed to make this PG-13?
No.
Is this for the kids?
You're bonding over Tusk. And Savini's a weenie. I have to give you a little bit.
Hey, no problem. Hey, actually, Savini didn't always used to be a weenie. When I was 12 and visiting relatives in Pennsylvania, I found his name in a phone book and called him on a payphone and did an interview for my class.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was cool, but then, he got to be this... When hair bands got big hair, he got a big head in that same era. and became different. But I don't know him so personally to say he's, because we all get that way at conventions. You got a lot of money, you got ego going on. Like, the guy is a mastermind, so I'm not saying like I know this. I'm just saying, yeah, it sounds funny.
It's been bandied about.
Yeah, Savini Weenie. So. So that was a good movie, and I love Nicotero for it, and how he really, you know, loves this stuff like we do, and to me that meant a lot. And I don't know, as far as other non-horror films that, you know, I saw recently.
Well, what about, because we were talking about a non-horror movie that had a scene that stayed with you that could have been a horror scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know the name of this movie, but when I was a kid, I saw a TV movie, and there's a Spider-Man doll. It's being burned in an oven. Anybody see this movie?
No.
It's something about Jonah, and it's like he's mad because his parents are getting divorced, and he takes it. It's like a Spider-Man Mego doll and puts it in the stove, and it's just burnt. It's just burning on, and for some reason, it scared the hell out of me. It stayed with me for years and years. I could still see the image.
Oh, that kind of thing. There was a show that was on, you know, it was a TV show. We didn't have cable, and I don't know what the crap it was about, but there was a scene where this guy in an old beater car picked up these two sisters who were hitchhiking, and he picked them up side of the road and drove, and then like the next scene was at night, and he stopped on the side of the road and dropped their clothes out on the side of the road and drove off, and it got
creepy,
to me.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what the heck the movie was.
It was the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, it hit that spot. It's like, ugh. Like,
so
really
you were talking about some scenes from movies that were scary, but they weren't in scary movies.
Yes.
And Full Metal Jacket. That was the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Because that kind of scared me. It's not a horror movie at all, but man, that's pretty disturbing.
Oh no, absolutely.
With Vincent D'Onofrio's character, especially, all that pretty much.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that horror is such a, much like comedy. You can have comedy and, you know, whatever. It's a horrific. It's not even just a scene, but it's a horrific kind of part of the film. Like, it's a drama, but it's a horrific. Yeah, it's a horrific part of it, because it rings true, because we know that stuff happened. You absolutely know, and even in the military, you know, there are people that just beat the crap out of kids. Yeah, beat the crap out of kids, and there's people that are like, good. They should have toughed up. Yeah. For me, the movie that really got me, I saw recently, it came out a couple years ago, was a movie called We Need to Talk About Kevin, and it's not a horror film. It's a movie about this woman who plays with time, and she's, putting her life back together after some things happen, and you start seeing why she's putting her life together.
Right.
And it has to do with her son, and it's such a dread-filled movie, and
write this down. You're gonna watch it after Willow Creek.
it's such a bleak movie, and it's funny because I sat there and about halfway through, I'm like, okay, cool, I get what this is. I get what you're doing. Like, how are you gonna make a 2-hour movie? Like, do I really want to watch a 2-hour movie? That's this. But man,
you stay totally with it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know, and it's one of those movies that you want to own, but you don't know that you'll watch again.
Right.
Kind of like Cannibal Holocaust, because you're like, I love owning it. I just don't know that I'm gonna make a habit of watching it, because it is so emotionally brutal, and where it goes, and
like, I'm glad I watched it once.
Yeah.
And it was really well made, but I don't know if I'd watch it again.
And what it says about teenage madness and teenage, and it's like, and it where it goes is fantastic, because where it goes is as emotionally impactful as the ending of Irreversible. Have you ever seen Irreversible? Yep. Because Irreversible, the big scene is in the middle of the movie, but the movie's ending is it's a happy scene, but it's so brutal.
Yeah. Because
of, what happened.
Right.
And it's the same kind of thing as, like, it's this revelatory moment at the end, and it's just like a kick in the junk.
Yep.
It's just
my God, I gotta see it.
Yeah. So it's wow. It's rough. It's a rough movie.
That's awesome. When you brought that up, I was thinking of this other movie I got this last year. I don't know if I may have traded it back, but maybe you know the name of it. got Kevin Bacon in it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The one where he's like a prison guard or something like that? Or
No. He's that's Sleepers.
Yeah,
That's
Sleepers,
that's disturbing where he's a
That's
prison
what I
guard.
thought you were going to go for, because it's so
But
disturbing.
interestingly enough, the character that he plays in Sleepers is a child molester, and this movie he is as well.
Oh, The Woodsman.
The Woodsman.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right,
and I
right.
had read a list of like disturbing movies, so I'm like, okay, do I really want to watch this?
Yeah.
It's got Kevin Bacon's got Keira Sedgwick in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm so there it is at the store for $1. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take it home, and that's one that I just watched. I know I watched that in 2014, where I was just, okay, Sarah, sitting down with the wife, like, we're gonna watch a movie about a child molester. We're gonna sit here and watch this, and then it was like, okay, it's done serious, it's done well,
Right.
and then he gets out of prison and goes and moves into an apartment across from an elementary school. And here I am just like, oh my God, it's not going to go that way. He's going to redeem himself. And then it gets to this scene where he's like, you know, on a bench with a young girl out and, you know, bird watching.
That's hard to even just think about, much less sit there and watch.
Yeah, I think because that was one of those, I'm like, okay, I've watched it, but I think I traded it back to replay.
Right.
Because I just, like, I don't really even want it. Cannibal Holocaust, on the other hand, is like, it's been sitting there for a long time. I don't like, hey guys, let's watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, you know,
Cannibal Holocaust viewing party.
Well, that's
Yeah.
like Serbian film. I had Serbian film, and it's a great movie. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
it has a bad repetation because of some scenes in it, but like, it's such a good, like, well-made
movie. Oh, I get so horny watching that.
But
Oh, God.
Not the baby stuff, just like the death stuff. Sex and death, not baby.
That
That's
didn't make it
gross.
much better.
That's just too gross, but yeah.
But yeah, but it's one of those movies I was just like, I'm not gonna watch this a whole hell of a lot. I finally kind of sold at a regular sale.
Oh yeah. See, that was you actually, you son of a bitch. You're the one that turned me on to that, I think.
Oh yeah, I told you
Don't
about
use
it.
Yeah,
those
you told
words.
me about it.
Don't use those words.
Turn me on. Because that was right. Because I kept hearing about it, and you're finally like, "Oh my God!" So we went and got it at the mall, and here I was at the mall, and I'm like, "Okay, it's one of these, you know, trunk blowers, right?" So I'm gonna sit there and watch it, get some popcorn, and I remember I was in my old apartment, and halfway through when that stuff just started happening, I was like, "This is messed up." And then it kept building.
Yeah.
And by the time it was over at the end, I was like, I need to call my son and tell him I love him.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. You
But it's-
I felt like taking a
motherfucker.
shower afterwards.
No, it's
For real.
It's great
Yeah.
because it's such a political statement, and people just didn't seem to pick up on it.
It's hard to pick up on it because all these other things are working against you.
But I mean,
while you're watching
but it's
it.
like,
I just thinking, should I be watching this?
It's
I
the
feel
most
like a bad
obvious
person.
statement, though. It's a statement of like how like empty and meaningless and worthless life is. I mean, in that
Can I
in
just
that
listen
world,
to Joy Division?
But I
Watch that?
I mean, it has a sad ending, I guess. So yes,
yeah. I don't know.
it's not a party movie.
No. No.
Well, actually, what's funny, when we watched it, me and my friend watched that, and then as the Bring Me Up movie, we watched Human Centipede. So that's like, and that in comparison was a laugh riot.
That's a walk in the woods.
Yeah, that's a laugh riot.
Human Centipede 2 is just shitty.
Oh. Wow.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we were trying to stick closer to an hour than not.
Right.
Do we want to tackle this last topic?
Yeah.
How much is that? Is that our time?
Yes.
Yeah, we could.
We're
Can we
gonna
talk, what about Bob?
We can mow it down.
What about Bob?
What about Rob Zombie?
What about Rob Zombie?
Zabarambi.
Well, how about this? If you want to fight with people, you go into any message board anywhere where there's horror fans and say something complimentary about Rob Zombie.
Yep.
And then that's it. And there's going to be 600 messages, and everyone's going to be mad at each other.
All I can tell you is I love how he brought the supernatural element back to Michael Myers.
Yeah.
No, he didn't do that.
Yes, he did.
Supernatural element? What are you talking about? Michael Myers was like...
Yeah, but he picked up a car. He kept fighting after he got shot 100 times.
He brought his own damn thing. That's why it's cool.
No, and I do like it. No, I'm just saying, like, there was no supernatural element to him.
Well,
I think there was.
Yes, there was, and I misspoke because it's not good. But Thorn is all that stuff is supernatural. No, you're right. The stronger ones are just him walking around. Though it's always just shy supernatural because he got shot like a son of a bitch.
That's what I'm saying. He gets shot 400 times and keeps coming back.
You don't see him on a horse riding into a Moody Blues album, but but I mean, it's still pretty supernatural. He got stabbed in the eyeball. He got his eyeball shot out, and he still was like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, he shouldn't have been around after the first one.
Well, I think they were trying to make it believable that he could survive this.
Right.
That to me was not.
That's kind of my issue with him, actually, a little bit. I don't like. All right.
Rob's best work was back when he was in Kiss. Love Gun
was amazing.
It was great when he was in Kiss on Love Gun. The duet he did with Peter Criss, what was that called again? Fooligan or Drooligan. I can't remember. But yeah, so that was good, and I can't wait for his crossover movie with Captain Spaulding and the clown from Spawn. That is gonna it's
Is that 31?
It's gonna be Spawnding.
Oh god. Groan.
It's late. My butt hurts. This chair is too hard on my butt. Can I just sit on your lap?
Sure.
Oh, Paul.
No, get your Babadook away from me.
Slap you with my Babadook.
No!
So, all right, House of a Thousand Corpses. I did not know what that movie was about
It's
at
half
all.
of a good movie.
Right, well,
It's half.
I think I liked it more than you.
Two halves of good movies. It's just the halves don't match.
I think I liked it more than you because I broke away from the narrative a little bit, and I just sort of...
The imagery,
yeah. And I didn't know what to expect watching it. And it was really the first movie that kind of challenged me a little bit. Because I got into horror movies late. Like, super. I was all Universal monsters.
What was the first horror movie you saw?
Wolfman.
Like, I mean, when you got into it late? Like, what was the movie that got you into it as an adult?
Probably Blair Witch.
Okay.
Probably.
That's legit.
And then, well, I had to leave Blair Witch because my girlfriend at the time was sick. She couldn't watch the screen move.
Oh, that happened a lot.
So it drove me crazy. I wanted to watch it so bad. We're like halfway in. I'm like, no. So we went and watched The Haunting.
I had it's like you and I were on the same date. Was that you? We went and saw Blair Witch, then we saw The Haunting, and it was just like, what the? It was The Haunting. I just
such
was
a
like,
letdown after that.
That was such a terrible movie.
You're like watching the Blair Witch, like, oh my god, and then The Haunting.
I didn't even really like the original Haunting that much.
But comparatively,
oh my god, good grief.
Because the original Haunting, it's creepy and
atmospheric.
Oh yeah,
it is that.
But anyways, House of a Thousand Corpses, I watched it. I snuck and watched it. And I was kind of impressed by the imagery. But the narrative, like you said, it is kind of all over the place. But it's still probably my favorite one of his.
My feeling with that one is that he probably didn't know he was ever going to really make a movie.
Try to stuff it all in there.
So he was like, he had ideas for a bunch of stuff, and he's like, I don't know if I'll make another movie. I'm going to push it all together. And it's neat. It's fun.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily work. That's why Devil's Rejects works, is because he was like, well, shit. I make a second movie. I can just do what I want.
What's funny is that most people think of that as his favorite, and that's probably one of my least favorites.
Oh, right on.
Because as a sequel, it doesn't work. As a sequel to that.
Yeah.
All the supernatural stuff and everything going on, and then all of a sudden they're like serial killer Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
And so it kind of bummed me out in that way, but
me
of course
too.
it's really well.
Well, and it stunk because they cut out the scene with Dr. Satan. Because it's
you could have tied it in and made it work a little bit.
I mean, I guess you're at the end. You can take it that it was all in her head, but I hate.
Yeah, that's.
He's better than that.
Yeah.
Like, I hate movies do that. Like, it didn't happen. Why did you waste 20 minutes on it then? Like, if it didn't happen, like.
Yeah, why do we have to put up with it?
Yeah, it's like, don't waste my time.
They stopped doing that back in the 30s.
Yeah,
you know.
Or the 80s.
Right, where they brought it back.
At least. Yeah, the movie I was thinking about earlier was Lords of Salem, which again is another. It's so good because it reminds me of a Carpenter movie. It's so good, and then the ending, he turned into a movie or a music video director, and it just goes so off the rails, and it's so masturbatory and so weird.
Literally.
But
Yes, it is literally.
Poor Walter.
Giant demon.
But until that happens, that's a pretty good movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's atmospheric and it's creepy.
Yeah.
It's got great music. Is
I like
great.
how it has quiet
that
moments.
theme, the Lord's theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
There's no way
notes, but it's amazing.
There's no way it would ever get airplay.
No, and that stuff, all of that, like the even when I read the synopsis, I'm like, so someone mysterious, some magic person sends the record, and I get who sent the record now, but it's just like, it's an evil record. Like you don't have an evil CD. An evil MP3. It's like
well, they want
evil
the
record.
throwback.
Yeah.
It's all Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah, no, I that's and that's part of his charm, part of his damning quality. Is that there's a little too much of him in it sometimes.
That's where everybody kind of goes here and goes, I don't like him or I do like him.
And it's funny because the movies that are the ones that kill him are the Halloween movies, and I admire the hell out of him for it because he said all along, I don't want to make Halloween 2, and they put him in a position where I think they promised him the moon. They're like, hey, you can make whatever damn movie you want to do.
So he decided not to.
Well, so
he just crapped all over the screen.
Well, I think
Do you not like Halloween?
I hate that movie.
I'm
sorry.
Why I like it is because it's such an angry movie because it was an angry guy. Everybody beat him up over the first one, and he's like, I don't want to do a second one. They're like, no, come on, come back. And he's like, fine, you want me to come back? I'm going to give you the sequel to the movie I made, and you're not going to like it, and I know you're not going to like it, but I don't give a damn. And that's exactly what happened.
See, that's why I didn't like it. That's why I didn't like it, because I liked the first one. But I liked the first one. I just think he's not good at continuing a story. Because House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, they don't fit together. Halloween 2, they don't fit together.
Maybe
I was disappointed as a fan of the first movie. I didn't look at it from the backstory of, the
original,
what he did, to get it made and all that. I just go in and see this movie that should be a continuation of this movie that I had some kind of emotional attachment to. Because the first movie, I liked it a lot.
So did I.
I was in for it and got me. The ending I liked. I thought it was really well made. And then the second one is not based off that story. Those are completely different characters reacting and acting in different ways that they would have in the first movie.
You don't like Hillbilly Michael?
No.
Or Wanderer?
No, but you know what?
Michael?
Like, that makes no sense. That's the first thing that jumps out to me is, like, why would he walk around with his mask off? Other than that sweet-ass beard.
I mean, but it makes more sense than... what gets me...
Because Tyler Mane did have a sweet beard.
What gets me is the Halloween movie fans, is because I got the box set and I've been watching the series. The series makes... There's a point, it makes no damn sense.
That's true.
So Michael was killed, and he just chilled on this guy's couch for a year, and then and the guy left him in his mask and in his jumpsuit, and didn't realize, like, oh, hey, this guy smells like he's rotting. Like, and then Michael just woke up, like, and fans don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
Like, they're on board.
Well,
like, doesn't make any sense.
I would never say that it's the worst one. Even H2, I don't think it's the worst one. Resurrection is...
Is that the one? That's the found footage.
That's Busta
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's embarrassing.
That's just stupid.
You just made me have a trigger. Like,
that's not even.
I put that out of my head.
I hate that all of, like, the big, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, all the big franchises. There's no one, and I realize that Marvel is a novel thing now, but, like, there's no one that sat down and was like, wow, we could actually have an arc to
just
these.
Think how cool
we could
that
have.
Been.
We're gonna make several of these movies. We could do something like not a Freddy versus Jason, but like we're gonna actually have a story where Jason does something instead of like, all right, Jason shows up, kills a bunch of topless girls, is drowned. It comes back, he kills something. Like, there's no story, and it's like they could have done that. And that's the problem with the Halloween series, is that they would try it, and then they'd like, scrap that. We're just gonna go back to the third movie, and then scrap that. We're going back to the fifth movie. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, and then you have some of the movies that don't even acknowledge the continuity.
Yes.
Like H2O None of that happened
You know,
before.
so
It's
like-
right after part 2, and then
Yeah.
the other shit never happened.
That's what's gonna be fascinating with
Right.
Halloween 3 when they do it. It's like, so how?
Where are they
yeah,
gonna go?
yeah. It's like
Space.
So did Rob Zombies exist?
He's gonna meet Machete in space.
Well, if you're gonna call it Halloween 3, his had to exist.
Probably just it's like it's gonna have Michael Myers. We'll have him. I'll be like, that's what
That would
carried
be
on.
so disappointing.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they'd carry on outside of him.
3D.
What could
And
they?
that's what it's gonna be.
I know. I heard.
What could they
Uh.
really? Where can they really go with it, though? I guess.
They'll probably try to bring Scout Taylor. Is that the girl? Scout
Yeah.
Taylor. Probably try to bring her back.
In
And
the
they'll probably-
Amazon
and they'll just chase her around for another movie and
with sharks.
with sharktopusses.
It'll just
Yes.
be whatever.
Well, that's the thing is again like they don't put any thought into like what they can do with it because there's still characters you can still have an arc.
You're thinking for ideas for Halloween.
No, I
3.
was like just looking at the original Books of Blood.
Halloween 3, the Cipher.
Halloween 3 with the real Mike Myers. Yeah, baby.
The career paths are getting real close. We are not far.
What I was thinking, though, speaking of Bob Zombie, is when you say you don't think that he can continue a story, did
Right.
you say?
Yeah.
And, like, so I'm thinking of him, okay, like, as an artist altogether, you know, he knows how to continue a story. He knows how to keep telling the same story again, and he can.
Okay, that's a
Musically,
fair-
he does that.
That's a fair
Like, thank God for John
criticism.
5 coming into his band, because, like, if you didn't have that bit of virtuosity in there, you would have a lot of the same repeated type songs, you know.
Well, can't.
And he still does. The grooves are still there. It's still obviously Rob Zombie, but John
Right.
5 is so talented it takes
Right,
it
he's
above.
amazing.
But that's as a musician, he's found a comfort zone. He can allow John to do his thing and still have the identifiable sound. But film-wise,
That's a good point.
he's still moving forward and trying to create. So he's like, I don't want to do that again.
Well,
I want to do something about a hockey team or
Yeah,
was it a
but-
football team or something.
Hockey.
You remember what you was talking about earlier about how we were talking about all the movies end downbeat?
Yeah.
Every single Rob Zombie movie, you know how it's going to end.
Oh
It's
yeah.
completely nihilistic.
Yep.
He has nothing else really
He's too tied to the
explore.
70s.
Yeah,
like
it's
he's
all that.
Like he's making 70s movies over and over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Homages.
you can't
Yeah.
you
It's
can't
his
say
homage.
if you say anything good about him, then you're a fanboy. But if you say anything bad about him, then you're a hater, and you know all the Rob Zombie.
And
fans.
like he to me
Hate
he
you.
is the dream, you know, like you could do the music, you could do this and that, you could represent horror in a lot of ways.
And he
You could
does
live your
in a lot
dream.
of ways.
Yeah, and that's why I love the
he's
guy.
a cool guy.
And he's a
Like,
talented. He's a
he is
a good
talented.
filmmaker.
He is,
right.
He's a good
he
director.
needs a good story.
He does.
And
Where-
like,
Let's get
he-
Kevin Smith to write him a screenplay.
get out of his own way. Oh God, that's.
And
they'll
then
do-
there you
they'll-
go.
They both want to do a
House of
hockey
a Thousand
movie.
Tusks.
It'll just be some crappy hockey movie that we all hate.
God.
But the thing I think with him is like when he's got all these ideas, trying to mishmash them and then as a band, your first album that comes out, like House of a Thousand Corpses, they had all these ideas, try to throw them together.
Right.
When you got a band and it's your first album, you got all these ideas. Well, you got multiple songs.
Right.
And that's what creates a great album.
Because
with
they've already
all
been
kind of
working
virtuosity.
on these
Yeah.
songs for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do this and that and the other. Like, I don't know whose first album is just phenomenal that you're really
Van Halen.
into. Van Halen has got all that kind of stuff. If you like metal, Testament's first
Right,
album
yep.
had all kinds of things that redefined thrash metal. So you got these as a filmmaker. He's now just going like, okay, wait.
What else can I do?
Now that he's done Lords of Salem and you know the new thing that he's supposed to be doing is 13.
31.
31, yeah, sorry. Could be very good.
It's already kind of rubbing me the wrong way though.
Yeah, because it feels like Running Man meets Halloween.
Yeah, and it feels like he's pandering.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're doing whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter what it feels like to everyone else. Like, and I will give him credit for that because he's just gonna do what he does. And you know, he's not gonna sit here and worry about what we think.
Running Man meets Halloween.
That's what it looks
that's
like.
what it seems like it's
Did
gonna.
you guys see that Mike Mendez short, the Foul trailer that he did? This was like years ago, I guess. It was like a reel that he was using for promo. That's that idea.
Really?
Really?
Years
'Cause
before
that's
this.
what it
Yeah,
said.
look it up. Look it
Okay.
up. He just had posted again, and they're like, this should be a movie. So for the trailer, he used some different pieces of different movies to put it together. but that's what it is. Running Man meets like all
Wow,
these
that's
slashers coming
funny.
there.
Yeah, because that's it
The
sounds
years
like 31.
before,
Sounds like
years
31 to
before
me.
that. So I didn't know what 31 was. I saw some art.
It's these kids that are kidnapped by these crazies that are dressed up like clowns, and they have to survive this night with all these killers that are clown killers and stuff, and blah blah, like kind of like going to an ICP concert.
And then that's the way that. That's funny.
I would kill
And that's the
myself
way that
if I had to go to an
it's getting
ICP
promoted
concert.
too. It's like it's gonna be so sick, and
Yeah.
it's just gonna be so gory and ruthless. Just tell
But
a
is it
good
gonna-
story.
is it
That's
gonna
all
be-
I really
yeah,
care
is it gonna
about.
be good? So
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
see it. I'm curious.
Right, I'm gonna
It has
watch
great imagery.
Yep.
But it's
And like even in H2, you can't deny the imagery.
oh, he
Same
has
with
a master of
VHS3.
he has a
VHS 3, outstanding.
we have gone
Outstanding show, man.
we have gone full circle.
That's it.
And it's perfect timing. We're just
1 hour.
So yeah, so this was the first one. We are gonna do these whenever the hell we want to, and we're gonna change.
Just like Rob Zombie.
Yes, we'll do what we want. We're gonna change our cast from time to time and include some other ghouls from the Flint Horror Collective Ghoul Crew, and we're gonna try to make this fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And we will see you soon.
Send all hate mail to Lucifer.
LuciferFulci.com.
Yes, go there.
Savini Weenie.
Bye.